Okay. All right. So my presentation is on Tufts Medical Center. My name is Trayvon Wright. Uh, Here's my presentation. So introduction of the healthcare entity. Tufts Medical Center is a nonprofit corporation within the state of Massachusetts. It focuses and coordinates a series of affiliated corporations that provide a wide range of healthcare and related services in the Boston area. They have 415 total beds, and they are also staffed. Um, Tufts is a level 1 trauma center, and it's home to some of the top orthopedic surgeons in the world. The main services are orthopedics, cardiovascular, advanced pediatric care to children of all ages, and comprehensive neurological care and advanced cancer treatments. Tufts Medical Center has a 15-building campus located in Boston, Massachusetts. It is within walking distance of Boston Commons and downtown Crossing. The medical center is constantly trying to expand itself throughout New England. They strive to treat complex injuries and diseases that affect adults and children. They have also a variety of subsidiaries as well that include the New England Quality Care Alliance. This Quality Care Alliance has over 1,600 physicians. New England Long-Term Care Incorporated, Tufts Medical Center Community Care Incorporated, and Tufts Medical Center Physicians Organization Incorporated. Some key items I thought that were important to talk about. When it comes to Tufts, financial statements were reviewed by Deloitte and Touche LLP. It's also a nonprofit corporation as well. It had 17,402 inpatient discharges and 45,943 emergency department visits in fiscal year 2018. In fiscal year 2019, they had 17,367 inpatient discharges and 43,273 emergency department visits. Some subsequent events I thought that were important to mention as well too. On November 1st, 2019, the Wealth Force and Obligated Group entered into two revolving unsecured lines of credit for $30 million each and maturing on October 31st, 2020, with Bank of America and JP Morgan respectively. The unsecured lines of credit bear an interest rate at the London Interbank Offered Rate, plus 40 basis points, plus a quarterly non-usage fee of 0.10% per annum. Charity care. Tufts Medical Center and its subsidiaries commits themselves to community service by providing services that benefit the poor. Patients who meet this criteria under the policy of the organization are eligible for, if not most, with some of these services. The entity or Tufts also developed a community benefit plan that would benefit the poor, the elderly, children, and minority population within that community, especially the Boston area, and hopefully majority of the New England area as well. Some of the services that Tufts offer include certain clinics, health screening programs, health education programs, and support groups. The health education program is a big one for Tufts. It's a really big learning school for students. A lot of people who are trying to pursue medical careers like doctors and nurses really gravitate towards Tufts because the amount of money and effort and time they put into educating the people there. The charity care provided $42,553 and $16,904 for the year ending September 30th, 2019, and $33,556 and $12,228 for the year ended in September 30th, 2018. Now, for the payer mix, the organization receives a large portion of its payments for services to patients from a limited number of government and commercial third-party payers. This includes Medicare, Medicaid, and also other third-party payers like Blue Cross Blue Shield, Harvard Program, and any other insurance that they accept. The organization grants credit to patients, much of which are from the Boston area as well. Now for the balance sheets. So as you can see, there's a negative for cash in their current assets, even for investments as well. Those stuck out to me the most because it's hard to operate if you don't have cash available to you. And then it's hard to have consistent revenue when you're not investing in yourself or the company as a whole. So I think those two are very alarming for me. And I was very shocked that there was such a big difference between years. I thought an entity like Tufts would continue to trend in a more positive direction. When it came to the liabilities, it was also a negative too. For at least total current liabilities, there was a negative. And this included like their debt, their accounts payable, their self-insurance reserves as well. So there could be a lot going on internally within the company. They could be not paying their bills. They kind of just have too much debt and can't keep up, not enough profit to balance it off as well too. When it came to the statement of operations, that wasn't too bad as the balance sheet. I think the operating revenue is great, but the expenses are also pretty high as well. So I think they should be very mindful of that. It's good that they're taking care of their employees because that has increased significantly over the next year, but it's also put a big debt in the expenses as well. And it can also put a big debt in the revenue as well too. Some key ratios that I thought were important to talk about. The current ratio, the quick ratio, and the acid test ratio. As you can see, the current ratio is a extremely unfavorable decrease, unfavorable trend when it comes to the benchmark, a pretty big drop over the past 2 years, over 2018 and 2019. When in just quick ratio, there was an increase in 2018, but a decrease in 2019 when compared to the benchmark. But the acid test ratio actually increased a lot in 2018, but decreased a little bit in 2019. I don't think it's too alarming. I think it's something they should keep an eye on, but nothing that is too alarming to them because it's still significantly higher than the benchmark. You look at liquidity ratios. These are rather interesting to me. A lot of the numbers are fairly close to each other. The days on accounts receivable isn't too bad compared to a lot of other hospitals. I think they didn't do a bad job with that. I think they have to do a lot better with the days on cash, days that have cash on hand. It was great in 2018, but in 2019 it's dropped, and hopefully it doesn't continue to go close and close to that benchmark. Hopefully it can stay above that benchmark. The revenue and expense ratios. Oh man, so like I said earlier, with the balance sheet and statement of operations, they've been spending a lot more money. It's good that they're taking care of their employees. I think it's great. That means that they're a great place to work for and work with and work at. The benefits are there. The salary is great. I just want them to be careful because they serve a lot of communities, and I don't want them to having to close because they can't afford to pay their employees or their employees quit, things like that. I think they need a little bit of more balance between their revenue and operation expenses per admission. The expense is a little bit higher than the revenue. In 2019, it is increased drastically, so I think they should be mindful of that and be careful of that as well. The profitability ratios, a little up and down. Some had significant drops. There were times when there's significant increases. But I think there needs to be some more consistency here from Tufts, and hopefully they can balance that out. Either get some more equipment to offer more services so they can make more profit, more revenue. This is something that they can stick to, that can constantly elevate them throughout the years. The activity ratios. I think their net fixed assets turnover was great. They need to do a little bit of work on getting it, the total asset turnover a little bit higher. But I don't think that's a bad level right now. It could be a little bit better. It's not a significant drop, so I think that's a plus. I think the best part for them were the age of plant ratio. The equipment and things have really lasted and held their value and helped the company make a significant amount of revenue. The capital structure ratios had a significant increase in long-term debt, which can be kind of alarming because that can increase expense in another aspect of their financial statement, which isn't good. So they definitely need to either find a way to make high revenue or try to decrease that debt as soon as possible. As a CFO, I would try to sit down with the board and think of a long-term plan for the next couple of fiscal years. A lot of things are a little alarming to me. Not enough revenue and too much expense. Not enough investments. Not enough assets, especially with the cash on hand and cash equivalents. I think that was very, very alarming. And I would encourage the board to kind of invest in themselves. Try to look long-term and not so much short-term. Perspective of a bank loan officer. If I was a bank loan officer, I'd be a little nervous lending to Tufts, especially with their debt situation and their expense situation. They seem like they have a lot on their plate right now. That was something it was a company I would keep in my back pocket to later invest in or lend to, if that were possible. Thank you for listening to my presentation. Thank you.